callousness, because of ignorance, because of offenses, whatever. So whatever way the living entity has messed it up, still there is not much meaning in hooking onto the world. Because the situations which the Lord is going to arrange now is going to include a corrective factor, no? Which will rectify that mess as well. Because the Lord is Suhit. He is the well-wisher. So therefore, and therefore everything is arranged to that tune and to that note. The materialistic conception is completely opposite. So we see this is such a beautiful understanding which the Lord is giving. That accept that which is coming up now as a new opportunity and gather our energies and gather our spirit and take it up. The new opens the doors. It's like that. Just like, see how nice. If life is just like, children playing, but life is just like, children playing a game. Say, maybe a game of cards, it's a game of chess. So sometimes, children are just playing and it's all fun and it's wonderful relationship. And different situations are happening but nobody takes it seriously. Like that, and some player is, some particular knight has got killed and things like that. And nobody takes it seriously. After a certain time, if say any one of them is bored with the situations, game, so no problem, they just wipe it off and put the players again and start a new game. Is it not? So if previously one was losing or one was winning, doesn't make much of a difference. So that is a play. And when we talk of play is quite similar to reciprocation of rasa. It's a play, it's a reciprocation of feelings, of emotions, which are all on a positive realm. So that is called as rasa. So how nice if every time life would have been like that, is it not? Just like for example, say, JEE exam, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है paper, so we reconfigure it. Or we can choose the settings, थोड़ा, peaceful setting, is it not? A little tough one, a little geared one, it will be very nice, is it not? But many times not like that. Or say we say we're sitting for a company placement, and we're not feeling good that day, the other person's face is also not good, who is going to conduct the interview, and we just rewind it up. That's a play, that's reciprocation, we just rewind it up. How nice it would have been. But many times life is not like that, is it not? So therefore, we see that's why what one feels moving ahead in life from a materialistic note is blockages here and there and everywhere. Blockages on the platform of health many a times. As age progresses, blockages on the platform of mindsets many a times. So one tries to, that's why sometimes we may have this experience that one tries to work together and with devotees, but then one realizes, oh, this Prabhu, his nature is creating a problem, it's very difficult to fit it, so then it's a blockage, so that Prabhu is blocked, we cannot work together, but then the other Prabhu is also blocked, and third Prabhu is also blocked, so it becomes very difficult, and therefore sometimes, if we do not learn Vaishnava qualities, sometimes what happens is that one remains as an individual one. No one comes in a state of oneness, only he remains. Nobody else remains, it becomes a state of oneness, like that. Only the so this is what happens. The blockages go on increasing, is it? Just like a son is born, and then parents feel, oh, this is my son is so nice, like that. Now this my son will expand my glories and my desires, and we'll have a nice time, like that. But then no, one may want to become may make the son into a doctor, but the son wants to become a lawyer, you know. So the things go, one may want to give the son to remain in India, but this fellow may run away in the West, is it not? So one understands, okay, he is also not reciprocating, things are, blockages are increasing. That's the whole point. Every time blockages increase. Because what happens is that activity is like a slate. The activity is like a slate. Something written on the slate, it's rubbed off. Something else comes up. Is it not? Sometime in the slate, we are ill, like that. But it doesn't remain like that always. The next day, it is wiped off, and we are healthy. Is it not? The next day it's wiped off. We have become muscular, or we have become fatty, whatever. So different things, activities or actions are like they are like writings on a slate. So actions are like that. So material energy uses a rewritable, slate, like that. But many a times, but what happens is that when the slate gets reflected on the mind, it leaves the impression. So activity comes and goes, but it leaves the impression, and that is how blockages are created. That is how blockages are created. It's not that the mind is not rewritable. We need to learn the language, how to rewrite into the mind. Just actions are like writings on a slate, slate or a whiteboard, like that, which is rewritable, which can be erased. Actions come, actions go, right? But they leave behind an impression on the mind, which is also rewritable, but we don't know how to rewrite it. It requires a special coding to do that, right? No, rewriting means you wipe off negative impressions. Those impressions are, any activity creates an impression. Impression can be a habit. Impression can be a hankering. Impression can be a feeling. Impression can be an emotion. Like some devotee, his activities are such that he has done a very good activity on us. We feel very nice, like that. Next time we see that devotee, immediately we are very excited about it. So his action has come and gone, but it has left an emotion. So next time, just by seeing his face, we become elated all of a sudden. Is it not? And there are some devotees, seeing their face, we become furious. Ye kyun aa gaya, why this? Immediately become irritated. He is asking a peaceful question, and our answer is, again, just like Mahabharata, that way. So the point is, does it make sense?
Like how to impress on different actions, how to get it as out of place,
Because see, actions are not permanent, but their impressions are more lasting. Now it appears that the mind is a read-only memory only. Once it is gone, it is gone forever. But it is not so. We need to learn the language, how to rewrite the mental scripts, right? And for that, one has to go deeper. So the Lord is telling one of the methodologies here. Okay, right impression, wrong impression, whatever impression has come in the past, don't worry about it so much. Now what do you have? Right? An arrow counters an arrow. A negative impression is countered by a positive impression. A positive impression substitutes a negative impression. And how do we get positive impression? Only the present moment can impart that. And that is why the Lord is focusing on newness. Otherwise, why is the Lord, in a literal sense, if we try to understand this, the Lord is telling, "Arey, they become old fellows, better let them get killed and they'll get new bodies." To some, it may appear very strong again, is it not? But what the Lord is telling is that, what is coming new is actually imbued with the correction of whatever mistakes we have done. And therefore, there is nothing wrong because the Lord is involved in that, is it not? Just like sometimes a student, he is giving a presentation on the board like that and he gets stuck up. So in between, all of a sudden the teacher may barge in and just take the chalk and just complete one or two statements, and then give the control to the child again, is it not? So basically, what situations which happen in our life, what they do is that they take away control from us, is it not? Right? And certain things are written, and then the control is against us, is it not? Right? This is what happens. So the Lord is making a point that what is coming new actually is Krishna's correction or feedback on how we can go closer to Him with whatever we have done, right or wrong. So this aspect has to be understood. And therefore the Lord is telling is that the situation is being arranged and everything is happening by me. You just take it up and see how in this situation you can make an offering to me. And not give logic and excuses and so on and so forth. Yes, and this is going. Yes, this keeps coming actually. So therefore, we will see that actually, if a sadhaka reflects on his life, we can see that the nature of life is such that, if you just keep reflecting back, that the Lord, helps us on each and every front. Sometimes, so we will see that, that whatever problems or whatever loopholes we have, Krishna will pick up one by one everything. Sometimes we may forget. But then it is going to come up, in front of us. And we are wondering, ye kahan se aa gaya? To itne saal purani baat hai, like that. The Lord is going to, some misconceptions we harbor, some wrong perceptions we harbor, and we may think life is going on, but at some point of time the Lord is going to zoom it. The situations will be coming in such a way that it gets zoomed up, and it seems that the whole world is looking at that only, we, others, everything, like that. And that has to be taken up as a signal. Now the Lord is wanting us to work on this, like that. So new. So where materialistic people fail is because they don't understand the language of rewriting. That's the first thing. But for a devotee, not only he understands the language of rewriting by taking shelter of the Lord, but the situation is much more better than that. See, if you understand the language, you can yourself code and rewrite it, right? That's what the yogis do many times, or jnanis may do many times, like that. And they have told the Lord, you just sit on the armchair and you just sit in your simhasan, and I will show you how I come to you, That's their algorithm, you just keep sitting, So that's what they do, On one hand they are trying themselves, on the other hand they are giving a signal to the Lord, you don't come near. Like that. But in case of a bhakta, the situation is even more wonderful. So he is trying with both hands. And the Lord is also trying in his life with both hands. That's the point actually. Not only we learn how to change scripts of the rewrite mental impressions, but then the Lord also gets involved, and therefore it becomes auspicious. and very fast. So, without understanding this, you see, otherwise, on a materialistic note, one never wants to give up the old, and one never wants to embrace the new. Why? The reason is because somehow or the other, one has got adjusted to what was the old. And there are problems in the old, but one has just accepted it. Okay, it's a part of life. But what good things are happening in the old, one has just zoomed onto that, hooked onto that. That means living entity has the power to zoom in and zoom out. Like that. And now something new is coming, one is thinking, okay, anyways, I am just tolerating whatever problems were there, but then, something I was getting. Now I don't know what is going to come up. Therefore, Krishna is an indispensable. If we understand and accept the Lord's identity and the Lord's position and the relationship, then we can accept the new because the Lord is giving us, is it not? Just like sometimes you go out on the station, many times they say that don't eat, anything offered by any unknown person. So unless sambandha is established, life is going to be always miserable, isn't it? It's like somebody is offering us a nice laddu. And now we are running and Gautam, उसको तो नहीं कहाँ से आया है, किसने बनाया है, इसके अंदर क्या मिलाया है, मैं नहीं खाऊंगा, In my bag there is 20,000 cash and I have laptop and this and that, like that, and we are very attentive. Not only we may not accept it, but then we are quite suspicious on the whole atmosphere and become quite alert. Basically we are miserable in that sense, or basically we lose, But then somebody says, nahi, tumhare, your mother only has given this. I say, mother only? Then whatever, now the ingredients have changed. Is it that? Now the ingredients have changed. Right? If we say, okay, laddu is made of the same ingredients, but if it is an unknown person, then we may think that iske andar poison hai, ye hai, neend ka hai, ye hai, nasha hai, whatever it is. Right? But then the moment we establish sambandha, nahi, mother ne diya. So immediately what comes up is, now love is there, whatever it is, we are most excited about. So that is the point. And therefore the Lord is telling, old or new, don't worry so much. Worry about sambandha. Worry about, so therefore, yeah, it's like, see how it goes is like this, that Krishna arranges situation, is it not? And Mayadevi arranges the, like Krishna gives the content, that is the content of opportunities, because it's an interactive session, so Krishna doesn't give just the results, so he gives the contents, it's an interactive content, like that. And Mayadevi decides how to deliver it, on a mild note, on a loving note, on an intense note, like that, right? That's what Mayadevi, see, according to one's own karma, one is able to figure out that. So that is what happens. Now an intense note is going on by mental energy. So Krishna has given the access to the living entity to minimize. Just like, so the person who is operating, who has admin rights, can decide. Suppose music is being played and the volume is too high. Now Mayadevi has decided too high volume and it is choking, suppose, like that. But then Krishna has given a direct access, that if you want to minimize it, you can do that by taking shelter of Krishna. Right? So even intense notes are minimized by taking shelter of Krishna. So that's why they said no, that pain is the pain is optional. What is in suffering is optional or pain is optional? Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Okay, some itch will be there. Now what to do? I have to tolerate it. That is the itch. Okay, I am helpless, I cannot change. But the point is that, should my whole existence get completely drowned into that? That's suffering. That's optional. Right? So, why there is option is that we take shelter of Krishna, the pain gets minimized. Like that. And secondly, the intense note is for some time. It's like an ocean. The wave will come, the wave will go also. So when it is gone, we can reflect back on the wave. I got a beating, now I need to behave myself. So it's a lesson for us. That's why even that intense note, because it is temporary, because it is temporary, we need not consider it as it can be taken up in a good spirit, because it was a lesson, it was a signal. Right? That's the point. So because the wave is temporary, it can still be taken up in a good spirit. But if the wave had, now just imagine the wave of misery and agony would have been permanent. Then you cannot talk about any good spirit at all. Again. Right? It's brutality. Is it not? But the Lord gives a glimpse of the material energy. So material energy shoots it. And then it is only for a small time. Is it? So we see any problem is for a small time. Like sometimes people land up in some financial crisis. But sometimes it only happens for a small time. Is it not? Sometimes we are in too much emotional breakdown, or too much problems, too much fights, things get resolved. Is it not? There are no two enemies, no two people who will always fight. Again. कभी तो शांत बैठेंगे, थक जाएंगे, पानी पिएंगे, सो जाएंगे, So it's a wave, and when that has gone, one should reflect back. ये क्या हुआ था, What had come? Is it not? That way. So this is the point actually, and that's why the Lord is telling us that we take it as an opportunity. So sometimes what happens is that when there is an intense wave which is being shooted by material energy, one gets completely broken apart. And when the wave has gone, still one is broken apart. And that's a mistake. Okay, when the wave is there too intense and one is not able to do anything, that's fine. But when the wave subsides, we should take it as a lesson. So that's why things in this material world are temporary is a proof. Actually, it's a great benediction which the Lord has given. A disease comes, health go down, health comes back again. Is it not? Now if the body is messed up, the next body is also given. Is it not? So the Lord has made everything temporary, and that's such a benediction. Because otherwise there is no scope only. Is it not? Just like many times we may have the realization we become very seriously diseased and we feel helpless. It gives us a signal that yes, I am not prepared, let me prepare more. Again, if this would have been a little more intense, it would have been the fag end of our life. Is it not? So we get a glimpse. So in that phase, one may not be able to do much. But when that phase is over, the opportunity is there to reflect, to understand, to take a lesson, to intensify and taking shelter of Krishna. Then let me surrender now, Krishna has given me some energy. Similarly, mind sometimes may just drag us in a particular direction and you're just not able to do anything about it. That's fine, don't worry. Why? See, we should have worried, and we should have, it would have been the greatest catastrophe of our lives if the Lord would not have been involved in the whole affair. But because the Lord is involved, it makes it temporary. Again. So material energy in one sense, she shoots and the Lord roots, So until energy just takes it up, unravels it in the Lord, and subsides it. Just take heavy. Right? So this is how the mechanism is happening, and therefore we can even accept intense things or intense situations as opportunities. The opportunity is not much when the intensity is high. Just like somebody is having 103, 104 temperature, he doesn't have the opportunity to attend Mangalarti and dance and chant and all that. Right? He cannot go out for preaching programs, he cannot do cooking seva, like that. So now one may say, okay, then what is the opportunity? The opportunity is there because it's temporary, because it goes down, and when it goes down, we can pick it up. Is it not? So that's the point actually. And therefore even intense things can be accepted as an opportunity. So therefore this old and new is a very powerful concept here, which the Lord is talking about. Prabhupada in the purport, Prabhupada is speaking about karma, desires, right? Because you see, the focus is transmigration, so the process is what? Desires, and what kind of desires, and yeah. So Prabhupada focuses here. Yeah, the super soul fulfills, see Prabhupada is saying, the super soul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. So it is said that basically, now this same thing is being explained in, say, Lord Kapil Dev explains in Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, Karmana Daiva Netrena, Jantur Deho Papadaye, and then it says Sriva Pavishta Pumsareta Ashraya. That basically one gets entrance into the womb of the mother, and he gets a body, through the semen, and that's what it says. Pumsareta Pravishta, Sriya Pravishta Udaram. So one enters, and that is how one is. So that is the channel, and through that channel, what is being delivered is so karma decides which channel, is it not? Just like we get admission at a particular college, a multitude of colleges, but whichever college we get admission, then we enter that college gate, we enter the main building, we enter the registration office, and they give us an ID card. Okay, this is your ID. You are into this specialization, is it not? This will be your classrooms, this will be your schedule. Sounds good, all the best, is it not? So one has got an admission, so then one is given the requisite equipment to move forward, right? So mother's womb, the process of birth, this is the this is the registration office. But what one gets in his registration office is what one deserves. Karmana Daiva Nityena. So our karma and then Daiva supervision, it awards like that. That's the point, is it not? Just like we may get admission in IIT KGP, through JEE, then we can go, and for the admission process, and we can go to the registration counter, we can go to the admission process. But the point is that, what roll number we get depends upon how we perform in the JEE exam. Okay, we get a rank 5,000. The roll number is not going to be CS, computer science, again. The roll number will be EX. Again, right? Right? So the point is like that. So all the way we say, okay, human body, we say human body, but within the human body, what scripts? Or what scripts? Now scripts may be encoded in genes, the scripts may be encoded in whatever, the various ways of understanding it. But the point is that mother father gives some scripts, to the child. The child incorporates some scripts from there. So what kind of scripts? those kind of scripts, which, how much marks you got in the previous exam. Is it that? That's because sometimes you may see, mother father are not so, say, spiritually minded or not like that. The son is very much, like that. Sometimes the reverse happens. Mother father devotee, son is completely different. He has some different algorithms from where he's processing. So basically, this is a mechanism. Ultimately, what we are getting, we are doing a trigger of karma, and then we get a reward based on that. Karmana, daivane. So that's what is being said, that we are dressed for, and we are dressed by our karma. We are dressed for our karma. We are dressed by our karma. We are dressed to get our karma also, and our karma is our dress also. Is it? Right? That's the meaning. Right? We are dressed for our karma. Somebody is, sent to the hellish planets. It's a very, pictorial analogy. It makes it very clear. Okay, he has to go to hellish planets. So he gets a dress, a body which doesn't get killed, but it experiences a pain. Is it not? Then they burn, so he says it's burning, but the body is not getting killed. Our body, 2 minutes finish. So there is a lot of turmoil, but it's temporary. है ना? उसके बाद again you get a handle, the opportunity. अभी क्या करना है? बहुत pain हुआ है ना? So now shall we criticize Krishna? Is it not? That's the point actually. So karma decides. Just like say if the husband and wife, they are very attached to each other, then maybe and both of them die, so maybe after death they may interchange their positions. They're attached to each other. So that Hegini Yam Yapi Smaran Bhavas. So say master and servant, they are really attached to each other, and both of them die. And they will interchange their positions, And that's what you see Maharaj Jad Bharat is telling, to Raghugan Maharaj, that what are you saying, king and servant and all that, It's now like that. Tomorrow I may be king and you may be servant. And what tomorrow? After 10 minutes, that's what happened. Raghugan Maharaj was searching for the lotus feet of Jad Bharat. Is it that? And he was ready to serve and surrender his life and all that. So who became master, who became servant? So the point is, but then what we are talking, so the focus here is that it's attachments, it's karma actually, which directs all this. This karma. And therefore it is said that yes, the Lord fulfills our desires. And that's where this analogy of the two trees is given. That's why we see that the analogy of the two trees is being given here. That now an important point which comes in this analogy is that this bird which is looking for fruits is always in anxiety. See, this is the lesson for a sadhaka to understand that this whole platform of desires is anxiety driven actually. Leads to anxieties. Just like, how to understand this? It's just like, a person, say for example, a person, just like a person who simply talks and does nothing. Just imagine, we are in association of one Prabhu, and this Prabhu is very nice devotee. But he just talks and talks and talks and doesn't walk only, But he doesn't do anything, Again. So he just talks and talks and talks, something like that. Then in that case, whatever he talks is going to give anxiety. Is it not? Now suppose he's talking about some seva, okay, how should Radhashtami festival be celebrated? And we will be feeling some itch inside, we will not be feeling comfortable, because we know he is not going to take anything, any role, again, right? He'll be just found sleeping somewhere, and eating, sleeping somewhere in the Radhashtami day. And then whatever ideas he is giving, it may be good ideas actually. Sometimes, we don't know actually. Sometimes Krishna can inspire anyone to give any great idea to us at any time, is it not? But it's very difficult to take it up, is it not? It's tum nahi, na? Tum na shakal to dekho. Is it not? Just like, I remember sometime we were in class 8 and some of our friends, sometimes they would get some research ideas and they would say, "Ye idea, I will work on it and I will publish a paper and I will become very famous," and all that, and all others will come in inferiority complex. Like one time my friend had proposed, he thought, "I have got an idea, it is going to be, it's going to rock the world," So many people think like that, and we get rocked apart, and that's what happens with time actually. So now a class 8 person cannot speak about some research ideas, is it not? It's baseless, is it not? So now therefore the point is that somebody who doesn't do any action, tangible action, whether he's speaking some good things or bad things, it is the same thing. Is miserable. Because he's not doing anything tangible, is it not? Right? In a similar fashion, it is said that this platform of desires, whether good or bad, it all has an effect of getting redirected to something bad. And therefore, it leads to anxiety. Right? That's the problem. And that is why when we bring even spiritual desires on a material realm, we get caught up there also. The spiritual desires are pure. But then there is a tendency that a spiritual desire may be clubbed with, one is preaching, one becomes proud of his preaching, he starts committing offenses. It's possible. One is just doing some backup seva, he may become proud of his backup seva, he may start committing offenses. So the activity is spiritual, but because the nature of material energy is an anxiety-driven place, then the desires on a material realm immediately take the root of, So therefore, as soon as any spiritual desire lands on the material plane, immediately anxiety comes, Right? So this is an important understanding here. And that's why you see the Jiva soul is always in anxiety. Although he is getting fruits, and some fruits are good, and some fruits are bad, and some are tasteless. Nirvishesha Shunyavad. No taste. Okay. Just like, sweet has a taste, it's comfortable, is it not? Chili also has a taste. It's a punching, it's burning, but still there is something in it, is it not? We've given this example many times, because I have somehow I have prominently noted this a lot, like that, and eating golgappas, and that water is so chilly, and people are, and handkerchief has come out, the tongue is burning, and the plate is over 6 golgappas, and a person will say, भाई साहब और एक प्लेट पानी. See, there is a taste, and we may say, तुम्हारा तो हाल बेहाल हो गया, अभी तुम what are you doing, taste. इसलिए material misery, but there is a hidden taste in that. Therefore people don't leave it, and people will be bleeding and burning and like that. But they'll say, nahi, और एक, like that. So, and spiritual world is a sweet taste. But tasteless means nirvishesh shunyavad, That is the only tasteless thing in life, like that. So, one another very important point Srila Prabhupada speaks in the purport here, and that's it, and that is that, see, Prabhupada is speaking here in the last paragraph that he should be happy. So this we talked about, old and new, that one, so that happiness is not the happiness of the loss of the body, that these two people are getting killed, old people are getting killed. That is not the happiness. The happiness is that, okay, whatever is happening, Krishna is arranging that, let me now surrender to Krishna, and that is the best role which I can play, in which everything will be auspicious for me, and the personality is involved, including the two grandfathers. So Prabhupada says after that, one who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. This is a very important lesson for us. Why Krishna again and again talks about this? That, okay, whatever you are, whatever they are, be for the right cause. Live for the right cause. If you cannot live for the right cause, at least die for the right cause. So if we are in the right setting and the right cause, one will be cleansed. And this thing comes many times in Bhagavad Gita. So what this means is a very powerful lesson here actually. And the lesson here is that, what is being said here is so powerful. It is said that, even a foot soldier, he dies in a proper battlefield, he is fighting for dharma, he will be elevated. Whereas a big Maharathi and Athirathi, who could have done so much and achieved so much, he is on a wrong platform. He now at the time of his chapter close. Chapter closes after some time. So at his chapter close time, he is on a wrong field, he is on a wrong party, and it is for a wrong purpose. Finished. So this is an important lesson. So that means the Lord is telling that we may be a foot soldier, we may be a big Maharathi and Athirathi, but that's not more important than that. Much more important than that is that for what cause we are fighting and which ground we are in. That's very important. So now this has many applications. One application is the service domain. We may be able to shake the world and rock the world and like that. Fine. Or we may not be able to rock ourselves also. That's another platform. That many times the feeling is we remain the same person still. We are not able to rock ourselves. So whatever is the platform. So that is what is being compared to a foot soldier and a big Athirathi, like that. It is said if you are at the right place when our chapters close, everything will be cleansed. That is the point actually, which we should understand very strongly and seriously. And sometimes there are and we will be able to. So therefore, the point is that one may want to achieve so many, whatever one is able to achieve or not achieve, wherever one is, if one is on the right track, Krishna accepts it. And the another application of this particular principle is, even when it comes to the tribe of Anarthas, it can be applied anywhere in all the 6 stages of Anishchit Bhajan Kriya. So when we talk about Vishaya Sangara, right, that is a technical term, battle with the Anarthas, the Vishayas, like that. So even if one is not able to achieve and establish one's flag on a particular Vishaya, but at the time of chapter close, where are we? What purpose? That cleanses it. And this may apply even for this positive quality inculcation. So fighting with negativity is one thing, cultivating positivity is another thing, is it not? So after So I forgot the exact term in this Anishtabha Kriya stages. Uh, so yes, positivity, and sometimes we want to achieve, we want to generally become humble, and there is 20-point criteria which you know how to become humble, but somehow, so inability to stick on to the positive. So there also the same thing applies. Again. So that's why we perform sadhana bhakti. Although sadhana bhakti doesn't have substance in it, it's like a shell, like that. But we perform so that because Krishna is telling what we have again with us is very important. Right? Thank you.
Where business, we are open writing that one lays down his life on the sacrifice of how is the proper battlefield he never takes the body writing that wanted to have such a life.
Yes.
So there was no power for Arjun's communication.
Yes.
But the question is, that those who are fighting from the Kaurava side, they were not on the side of Bhagwan. So why would they go to higher status of the Arjun from other side when they are free?
Yeah, in general they will not. In general they will not.
So what is this argument?
No, see, in general they may not go because here the Lord is involved. And therefore things are different. Right? Only they get liberated when the Lord is personally there. He gives a concession. Is it? He gives an even greater concession. And those who die seeing the Lord, they go to spiritual life. It's a concession by the Lord. In general, they will not. Like that also now also like some Rajput kings used to fight with some other maids and all that, and people are dying and all that. So the other maids will not get promoted.
So it is like Dharma is only one person. On one side it is Dharma. Of course, on the other side it is other things.
Yeah. They will lie down. But when Krishna is involved, things are a little different. Again. In general, people like Jagai Madai, die. But if the Lord is involved, it becomes different. Is it not?
What is the meaning to this? One who lays down his life on the sacrifice altar?
Yeah, sacrificial altar is no, warfield is separately mentioned. Sacrificial altar is a proper battlefield. Yeah.
Does it refer to like the cow or the horse which is killed in the sacrifice?
Yeah, that's a case study. But one aspect is that sacrificial altar is also yeah. So now one who basically one who sacrifices for Krishna. Is it not? That is called as a sacrificial altar, like that. Where you perform service becomes a sacrificial altar. Like that. If somebody has served, somebody has served Mayapur, project from past 45 years, like that. So it's as good as one is making it. No, it's as good as laying down one's life for the sacrificial altar. It's like that. So the ground of Sankirtan is also sacrificial altar. So if we are engaged in Sankirtan, then yes, we are sacrificial. That's also sacrificial. Yeah, we lay down our lives. That means we utilize our lives. Bhakti is not the process of drain. Whatever we have, we drain it out, flush it out. Bhakti is not a flush process. Again, it's not a drain process. It's a gain process. So laying means investing.
But their commander is on the wrong side. They are fighting because
Perfect. That's why Krishna says, I am Bhavagrahi. Krishna says, so Krishna sees our motivations. Therefore, you see, even in that day, Acharya was also pointing out, this circle, that the definition is, of that favorable, anukulyasya. That is called as favorable, right? The three primary characteristics: Krishna Anushilanam, Anukulyasya. Anukulyasya means favorable devotional service. So, what is favorable? That which pleases. What pleases? हमको पता नहीं, है ना? So, what should we offer? What do you genuinely think will please? It may or may not please, but that is Anukulyasya. Thank you. That makes sense. Okay, we go to the next verse. Text 23. Nainam chindanti shastrani Nainam dahati pavaka Nachainam kledayanti apo Nashoshayati marutaha. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. All kinds of weapons, swords, flame weapons, rain weapons, tornado weapons, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears that there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc., in addition to the modern weapons of fire. The nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons because formerly there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Firearms were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to modern science, nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces, nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices. The Mayavadi cannot explain how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance and consequently became covered by illusory. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls from the original spirit soul. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the Supreme Soul. Because they are atomic individual souls eternally, Sanatana, they are prone to be covered by the illusory energy and thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord, just as sparks of fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of fire. In the Varaha Puran, the living entities are described as separated parts and parcels of the Supreme. They are eternally so according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. So this is driving the point, characteristics of the soul, which is driving the point about the indestructibility of the soul, is it not? Indestructibility of the soul. Yeah. Correct. Correct.
Also understand all these things because all this is very difficult.
Yeah. So the soul is spiritual, but when the soul manifests uh, on this material world, when the soul manifests on this material world, that manifestation on the material world, that can change. So it's not that spiritual hairs are getting cut, but then they are manifesting on the material realm like that. That manifestation is cut. Make sense? Everything connected to Krishna's form is spiritual, like that. But the manifestation of it, which is coming to us through perception, that manifestation is bound to change. So nothing is one with Krishna, like that. Like Krishna is here one with Krishna, but sometimes, just like say Tulsi Maharani, we say that, this was Tulsi Maharani herself, so that means, expansions, right? Right? So one way of seeing it is expansion of her hairs, like that, beautiful hairs. It's just one way of seeing it, it's like that. Otherwise, how can Tulsi Maharani expand to so many plants? It's like it's a manifestation again. So now somebody may say, okay, Tulsi Maharani dies, then the hairs of Tulsi Maharani, they are cut or what? No, it's just a manifestation of it, which is gone. You understand? Now our pot is empty, we cannot worship. Is it not? We have to get a new one. Is it not? You got the point, no? So the manifestation, that changes. That changes. So, see, this is a very important understanding. Because, see, basically what happens is that the difference between soul and body is a subtle thing and is an intricate thing. And many times, unless one is properly understanding the concepts, he may confuse. Body to be soul, soul to be body, and mind which may, becomes anything like that. So, so one may confuse actually. And therefore, we see that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining from various angles to make the point very clear. Understand. So, if we talk about theology, then we can understand that so many different religions, and many religions have mentioned about reincarnation and soul and all that, but their mentions are, not very deep. And the mentions are not very deep. It's like you will see a contrasting, it's a contrast that say, Christians, Now you see, see there are two types of religions. One is called as Semitic religions or Abrahamic religions, and they are coming from Moses, that's Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. So they are basically based on some very great historical fact, like Moses took people, from Egypt to Jerusalem, so historical event happened. Jesus got crucified, things like that. Then there are these dharmic religions, which is like Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, So they are focusing on principles, how to look at the world, see the world, like that. Now the point is that in Abrahamic religions or whatever religions we talk about, the concept is there, the mention is there, but it is hodgepodge. Just like Christians, they accept the soul, but they don't accept reincarnation. Soul hai, reincarnation nahi hai. So that's why they bury their bodies also. Why do they bury the bodies? The same thing, they understand why in Christianity they bury the bodies. The whole understanding is that because they don't understand reincarnation, so the change aspect, that okay, on the day of judgment we will be brought out, and in the same bodies which we had, we will go back to the kingdom of God. Understanding is little, Not clear actually. It's quite easy. Because now we know history in PT, we have heard about it. Constantinople did it, Constantinople, he adopted Christianity as a religion just for some political affairs, just to make people peaceful. Simple. And there was not much other reason in that. He was a king in 400 AD or something like that. Yeah. So Judaism was going on, but then just to have some political peace, he wanted to change things so that sometimes you just change, people become peaceful. Like that. And you just change things, people become peaceful. So he just adopted Christianity as a religion, but then then he thought that okay, because he was adopting for here and there motive, but then he thought okay, and then he said that okay, this tenet of scriptures, of the Bible, where it says multiple lives and all, take it off. Just give them one chance and rule over them. That was his idea. Apne liye peaceful, unke liye peaceful. Is it that? So that's why he had done that. Now, this is Christianity. And, Buddhism is something opposite. They believe in reincarnation, but they don't believe in soul. They say what? That there's no sense of identity. It's just flow of consciousness. It's consciousness, and like that. So, it's consciousness. It's just consciousness. But the point is that there's somebody who's observing consciousness. The body is changing. Who is the observer? Yeah. So consciousness, they may say that okay, and the example is given just like a candle. The flame appears constant. The flame appears constant. This is the analogy they give. The flame appears constant. So the sense of identity appears constant, but it is always changing. It's not constant, right? You light a candle, it's not constant. It's always changing, and therefore they say, okay, it's just consciousness. The point is that okay, you may say candle and flame and all, but you are missing the observer. Again, and that is the soul. But that is the point. It is like that. So therefore, you will see that even Buddha, he didn't answer many philosophical aspects. Like somebody came to Buddha and he said, okay, are you God? Buddha didn't say anything. Are you a messenger of God? Who are you? He didn't say anything. And then the person asked, who are you? Like that, And then Buddha said that, I am awake. Like one time, Lord Buddha was asked, okay, does the soul come from the body and the body comes from the soul? What comes from what? Buddha silent, He didn't answer anything. Soul is coming from body. Buddha silent. Body is coming from soul. Buddha silent. The person walked off. Disciple, Buddha was shocked. He came to him. He said, what did you do? He said that person was anyways in ignorance. So any answer you give him, it enhances his ignorance. So what is the use of answering? So Buddha didn't do much here and there answer actually, like that. So the point is that consciousness may be changing. Why? Because it's just like an iceberg. It's just like a tree. There is a root and there is a shoot. So the shoot is a material manifestation which may change. But the root is the soul which doesn't change. So therefore, now what is this body? This body is a mechanism or the vehicle or the machinery by which we express our consciousness. Our expression may change. Sometimes we are happy, we may cry tears. किसी को लगेगा क्या हो गया ना? ऐसे था. बोले ये खुशी के आंसू. दूसरे वाले हैं. है कि नहीं? Like that. So that is the expression. And sometimes one is happy, one may just start dancing. Haribol, Haribol, And sometimes one feels very happy, one goes to sleep. Chalo, So the expression may change. Now one may say, अरे sleep और happiness की में क्या relationship है? कुछ relationship नहीं है. It's just the way of expression, is it not? That way. Yeah. So that means that what changes is the material manifestation of consciousness. But consciousness at is the soul. So that doesn't change. Make sense? Like that. It's just like, see, the point is that it's just like, okay, something is gross we can cut, but can we cut the mind? We cannot. So then how do we, make a sabji out of mind? We mold the mind. Is it? Similarly, spiritual world, people are very ductile and malleable. So, we cut. This cut philosophy only exists in the material world. Because nobody wants to change. They're so strict, they're so stingy, they're so stiff, it doesn't change. So then there's only one solution. It has to be cut. Okay? Like material knots, they're so stiff, they're so difficult, they're so strong. It's like strong gati, gati after gati after gati, like that. You cannot open it up. But then what to do? Cut. Nainam chindanti shastran. So that's the point. So spiritual world, the Sabji Prabhu doesn't have to be cut. Because when the other devotee expresses that this is my desire, small pieces, the Sabji Prabhu manifests himself as small pieces, goes inside the mouth, gives the taste and says, Hari Bol. I am going now. Is it not? That's the point. No? There is no cut there. Again. That's the whole point. Is it not? So, that's the whole point actually. So basically, therefore we need to understand the concepts properly. See, another aspect is that correct.
So, like, if someone loses his name, I have heard that medical the other person is not in the hand, actually he is feeling it somewhere here. Actually, the person lost the hand. It's down for that. And one more thing is, what happens to the subtle body? When the gross body.
The subtle body is there. Subtle hand remains. Therefore, a person also always feels that his hand is there, but then he realizes it's not there. So it's there in the consciousness, like that. But then the manifestation of it is not happening.
What that is always.
Google it out. The subtle body doesn't get changed, it stores this particular impression as a database. No, the subtle body may not get deformed, but the subtle body may store the deformation as a data. And when the new birth takes place, all these data, the data analytics takes place. So the devas take this data and then they give the name. You got the point. The devas take the data after that. So mental impressions are data for the devas, and they have algorithms. They will run software, and figure out like that. They have very high end CPU machines. You got the point. Yes. It has 5. Its heart is in 5 parts. Like that. No, the body is like that. Now, what basically happens is that soul is everywhere. So, which soul is given charge of what? We don't know. So, when we cut, and it is said that some other soul takes over. 100%. It's already there. Already there, because in the body there are millions of souls. Every cell has a soul. Which one? Karmana Daiva Netrena.
It happens immediately.
It happens immediately because Daivic algorithms are running. Everything is automated. Nothing is manual. See, yeah, nothing is manual. Nothing is automatic. But it comes from the Daiva platform, like that. Every soul has a soul. It's an independent, not soul, not of that living entity. It's a separate living entity altogether. Our body is also like that, in millions of souls. And one soul is giving charge of the whole body. Just imagine, millions of souls.
The section of when Indra says Andrew
Another soul like this. Yeah, another soul like this. Cannot be the same.
So cannot.
Yeah. See, our conception of doing things is on a different level. It's a very gross way of doing things. Like matter, we want to manipulate matter. How do we want to manipulate matter? We want technology, like that. So we get control, Everything we break it down into atoms, molecules, and forces and all that. Reductionistic function, like that. But Vedas are not telling us that. They are telling you accept that there are various hierarchies. You can do to some extent at this level, but you go one level up. There is karmana daiva netrena. The demigods are administering and they have access rights and all. So you please the demigods, what will be done? Is it not? So it's a higher level of working out things actually. Is it not? So the indestructibility of the soul is being highlighted here powerfully. So I believe we'll stop here. We'll continue next week with our discussion moving forward. Tomorrow morning we are not having a class and there may be some changes in our schedule the coming 6 months. We will inform you next week. Right? So you have the third assignment due and we request devotees to mail the third assignments, like that. Next week probably you may get the fourth. Just telling you. Yeah, this section what we are talking about, 12 to 30, has 2 questions. The other one will come up. One is already we have discussed, so it's due for writing. The other one will come up in 1 or 2 weeks. Hey, Bo.